We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping. We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Miss Hip Hop, aka Queen Star, and today we are doing things a bit different. I'm introducing various individuals from the podcast community because we are absolutely the next wave in the radio game. So, with that being said, I would like to welcome Miguel with the Just Chillin podcast. What's up, man, and welcome to the show.
What's up, man? I appreciate you let me come on today and be a part. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good too.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's just crazy out here right now.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
Okay. Well, Miguel, I like to start off all my shows with an icebreaker question for the guests. So, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What precautions are you taking to prevent the virus from spreading to you and your family?
Right now, I'm just following that whole stay home kind of initiative that they have going on. I believe it's a good thing for everyone to do. Kind of just stay with the people that you've been with. Like I've been with my wife and my daughters and my wife, she has an elderly mother. So when we first found out, that it was spreading so rapidly, we came to be with her. And be around her just in case, to be around her as well. So we know that we don't have it in our little circle and we just keep it like that. We'll go out and get groceries and stuff like that, essentials. But other than that, we're just sticking together right now.
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so happy that your wife's mother has somebody that she can count on to help her, especially since she is elderly. I commend you all for that. And I really hope that everyone in your unit and everywhere else stay safe and everything like that, and we just get past this.
Yep, the same to you and yours as well.
Thank you. Okay, so Miguel, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're broadcasting from and what your show is all about.
Okay. Just Chillin podcast. It was like I said, it's not even a year old. I guess in May it'll be a year. But I just was listening to a lot of podcasts before. And one day I just woke up and I was like, I think I can do this. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but it seemed like it just slowly came together. And me and you talk a lot, and I say I just love like organic things. So
me too.
The way it came together was just and the support. And I told you that too. Is the support was good too. My wife, she's like, I was like, you think I can do it? And she's like, yeah, I think you can. And what do we need to get you started? And as far A, B, and C. And she did that. But a little bit about myself. I'm just a normal guy. I love hip hop and something I grew up on. And I like to ask people questions. That's why I feel like me and you, we kind of vibe the whole interview process. I love, people don't know that about me, but I really follow people. Man, I used to love growing up watching Larry King live, David Letterman.
Wow.
These historic interviewers and these people. I mean, even Arsenio Hall. I mean, to be honest with you, these historic people to me that ask questions. And they had these epic interviews and stuff like that. I mean, I got to a point, and I was a kid. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I was like 13 or 14 watching a whole bunch of Larry King. Like I was a nerd to my friends. But yeah, for me to actually start my podcast and realize that these are people I'm trying to emulate, basically. And we'll give them their own credit. If anything ever happens. But yeah, I just took it and ran with that whole model. Because I do, respect those guys that I grew up watching.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I guess I didn't think of it that way. Like to look up to certain individuals. They had their own shows on TV, like David Letterman and Arsenio Hall, especially. You know, that's like early '90s, and man, that's crazy. Did you tell the people where you're broadcasting from when you do just Chillin podcast radio?
Normally when I broadcast out of Birmingham, Alabama, that's where me and my wife moved maybe a few years ago, but we stayed like an hour away from we came from an hour away from Birmingham. That's where a lot of our family is. But what this is going on is Birmingham is such a hotbed for the COVID-19 virus right now. Is where we came back to our hometown. So like I said, that's where my mother-in-law is, and that's kind of like, you know, where we're bunkered down at right now and trying to wait this thing out. I'm from Gaston, Alabama, though. I don't know if anybody out there listens to your radio. Shout out to Gaston, Alabama. They pretty much raised me, up from a kid. But you know, the adult me is really trying to, you know, do something in Birmingham right now.
Oh, well, shout out to Birmingham for sure. Well, how long have you been?
The Dirty South. Shout out to the Dirty
South. Hell yeah, Dirty South in the house.
Yep.
So you say you've been podcasting for about like a year almost, and it'll be a year in May?
Mm-hmm. It'll be a year in May. I can remember that day so vivid. I'll never forget that day. I just woke up, and it was a weekend. I woke up, and I was like, man, I bet I can have an episode out by next week.
True. You see how easy it is now.
Yep.
That's dope. Okay. So who was like, I know you say you just woke up one morning and kind of had the inkling to start your own show, but is there anybody like, I know you named your wife too, but anybody else like within your circle and your family that like pushed you to say, hey, you know, Miguel, you are really good when you converse with people back and forth. You should think about like, you know, doing something with that without them necessarily saying, hey, start a podcast. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Not really. I mean, the only people I could really give a shout out as far as that go are people that I work with at, you know, various jobs I have. Like we'll go on break time and I could just talk to people and have them laughing and stuff. Like we just have a group of guys and I'm usually somewhere in the middle or close to the middle, making everybody laugh and just asking crazy questions. Because I'm just full of questions. Mm-hmm. And I can just, you know, they'll be talking about sports and then I'll just say something crazy or make everybody laugh, or I'll say, you know, I ask a crazy question and just, you know, just kind of help get the day going by. I wouldn't say family as much, but, you know, there are people now, once I started the podcast, I have got nothing but support and love from my family now. I won't take that away from them, but as far as pushing me to it, I don't think that they knew that I was watching these people like Larry King and I'm saying, I don't think they were aware that I was paying that much attention to them until now. I would say the people that do know more about me and support me are people that I spend lunch break with at my jobs and break time with. They like, yeah, I can see him doing that. Because once I start doing it, they're like, oh yeah. And I got a guy I work with, Shedrick. He's like, yeah, this dude's gonna make it one day. He's gonna be on TV, and he's told me that. And you don't forget stuff like that.
No, you don't.
He might not think that. He might not think that it, you know, that I remembered I say something, but he definitely said. He said, oh yeah, when you start doing it, he's like, yeah, he keep doing it. He's gonna be on TV one day, and you know that's the thing that pushes me. So shout out to Cedric.
Yeah, shout out to Cedric for real. I like that. You remind me of Cedric the Entertainer. Speaking of comedians and stuff, now you have had a ton of different people on your podcast, like everybody from artists to authors and speakers and pro wrestlers and all kinds of stuff, like, and comedians too. Yeah. So tell me, what was like your favorite so far? What has been one of your favorite episodes?
Let's see. My favorite episode is I don't know what number it is, but it was very early. It was one I did with my wife because I'm always trying to get her in to record me, and I don't even bother with it no more. Shout out to Trina. But I got her in here one day, and we did, I guess it might be episode 4 or 5. We were talking about Earthstones. I think it's called Earthstones or something like that. It was one of the early episodes. But that's the one I immediately point to. And I'll try to give you another one, too. Maybe I'm a huge wrestling fan, so definitely having having my guy the wrestler I had on there, he was the champion at the time. He's still the champion right now. Judah on there, but he go by Big Smooth. I was that's his moniker, Big Smooth. I'm a huge wrestling fan. On top of watching the interviews and stuff, I watched a lot of WWF growing up, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Ric Flair and stuff like that. To have a wrestler on there, I know that's not what my podcast is catered to, but to have a wrestler agree to have me interview them, it gives me an extra boom of confidence that, like, man, I get rappers, rappers, artists, authors, wrestlers again, but I meant to say comedians and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it makes me feel good, because that's like I said, Larry King is gonna be number one for me. But you got to think about the type of people that he had on his show. He had Prince, he had Mike Tyson, he had Whitney Houston.
Wow.
He had senators, he had presidents.
Wow.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that when I do Just Chillin podcast, it's definitely, I'm shooting for that type of feel or that type of vibe.
Oh wow. I make me want to skip right to this other question, but I'm not going to. That's really dope as hell and everything. And to create your own niche for podcasting. I know when I first heard the word niche, I thought you had to narrow it down to simply one thing, but you have all types of people on your platform. And I think that's really cool because you are natural. So what do you do to nurture your natural abilities as a host?
That's a great question. That's a great question. Shout out to you, Mzradio, for that. It all starts from inside. I think you should go by how you're feeling inside. You want to kind of keep your whatever that is inside of you that I would say that creative muscle. Whatever that is inside of you that you can feel inside of you. Just kind of nurture that, and try to make that muscle feel good. That creative part of you. Like I said, how do I nurture that? Family, family, people that support you, want to keep those people close to you. Those people that genuinely support you, and even I guess people that moderately support you. I guess you kind of want to keep those people close too. People that you vibe with, that you vibe with. You can say that you vibe with someone, but people that you know that you vibe with, and people that know that understand what you're trying to do, you can kind of always pick those people out. And you just kind of want to stay in that mindset as much as you can, and that's what I normally do when I'm getting in and I'm trying to get an episode together. I dedicate allotting time. I would say that allotting time to prepare. That's important. Because if you don't spend any time on it, if you say I'm just fixing to do this, but you don't allot any time to prepare or learn something new about who you're gonna interview.
Right, exactly.
Definitely spending that time trying to put out the best product you can. Mm-hmm. And those are things that you can do to keep that creative muscle strong. That's the easiest drawing I could easiest paint I can put out there is just trying to keep that creative muscle strong. The thing that made you want to do this in the first place, you always want to protect that,
yes.
with everything.
Oh, beautiful answer. I totally agree with you too. So like, what is your creative process when cooking up a good episode for your listeners?
Yeah. Another great question. What I do, like I said, I allot some time. Let's see. I always try to make sure that the person wants to do the episode.
Yeah.
I don't ever want it to feel forced. And
hell no.
About that. Like I said, I'm glad I know you.
Me too.
Because we talk about this type of stuff.
Yes.
Making sure that person wants to do it, making sure that they're comfortable doing it. I always tell a person, you don't have to do this.
Right.
We'll still be friends.
Because that's what I'm saying. I still like your music, Yeah.
I don't want you to feel like, and I won't say this person's name, but I've had people, just as many people as I've had. I got 40 episodes out, not 41. just as many people have said yes, have said no.
Yes,
so,
honey, say that shit. Yes.
So just as many people said yes, have said no, and you just can't let that stuff stop you. And I was gonna say talk about a story, but I had people that want to do it all the way up until it's time to do it, and I mean. You got some of these artists, and me and you, we cater to the artists. We want to get these people out there. We want more ears to hear them.
Yep.
Got people that are too high on the day of.
That's funny.
Don't want to do it. I've encountered this. I was like, well, hey, are you ready to do this episode with me? And I'm like, oh man, we got it today. It's the day. I'm over here doing this right now and some stuff like that. They're not allotting the time as well, so you got to get that reciprocated as well. But what I do is I kind of learn as much as I can. I kind of do a crash course on whoever I'm interviewing, because I always want to give out the best episode I can, the best me that I can give out. And how you do that, learning about them, listening to some of their music, finding things that you like about that person so it can be a natural experience. Definitely, you always want to come across as natural and not, just reading off a piece of paper. That's why I don't copy. I don't copy anybody's work. I can easily go and say, well, what did this person ask you? Are you meant? And I want to give you credit, but I do that when I get a chance to. But the people that have come on the podcast recently are people that have been on your podcast.
Right.
And, I could easily just go and say, well, what did she ask them? I don't do that.
Right.
I sit on my couch, I sit on my bed, and I come up with questions by myself.
Right.
That way that interview won't sound like your interview, and it also gives people 2 interviews to listen to from that artist. So being original, I always try to be, so to put it in a nutshell, I try to be as original as I can and learn as much as I can.
Love it. Absolutely love it, because what you just said is correct or whatever. You know how it's so much I want to touch on that you said though. Oh God. You know how some artists, like, they be like, when they ask them a question, it's like, what are other artists or other music that you listen to? I don't listen to nobody. I listen to myself, because I don't want, but I get it though, because you don't want to be inspired in that way, because you subconsciously listen to somebody else speak, and then you kind of take that same lingo, but the thing about it is you got to do it, in your own way. Be original, like you said. Yeah. Be original. And the other thing that I want to touch on that you said was to how you make great episodes for your listeners is to put in the time. You don't put some junk out there, quality over quantity, and putting in the time is very important. To research on that person, that's really good. And it was one more thing that you said, what you say? So you have to make I don't know. I forgot what you said, but everything you said was on point.
Just being original and learning about that person. That's basically what it is. Just being original and learning about that person.
Right. And then you also said something about as many yeses as you've gotten for people to come onto your show, be guests on your show. You got just as many no's. So this is a question coming off top of the head. But with you saying that, can you remember a time when you really wanted to do an interview with somebody, really wanted them to be a guest on your show, and they may have just said either a straight out no, and you were just you felt disappointed, or they kind of, what you just said, not led you on, but it was like, oh, it's today, oh, I'm too high, woo, woo. What kind of letdowns have you experienced doing podcasting, and how do you not let that stop you from continuing on?
That's a great question. You don't let it stop you from going on. Is like I said, you always want to get back. When you get that no, or you get that uninterested person, you always want to get back to your creative muscle as fast as you can. And that's the thing that comes out the top of my head.
I love it.
I think that's so important. What made you start this in the first place? You just keep asking yourself, and find yourself these important questions and ask yourself. That way, when you experience disappointment, or you experience a letdown, you're able to get right back. And I'm always like, well, let's see who else is out there, because we live in a time where there's so many people out there that are willing, and there's so many people out there that's trying to be an artist right now. There always going to be someone out there. So if you don't know that now, now you know that. But I want to, before I forget, you said think about a time where I really wanted this guy to do this interview. I grew up with him, and I know that he's a good artist, and I know a lot of his family and stuff like that. And he's just in a different. He might not be that way now, but when we tried to do the interview, he was just like in a different place in his life, and that really did. It really did make me feel a way, I guess, if you want to, go with a word. But like you said, this was like maybe 20 episodes ago. So I kind of quickly rebounded. But yeah, you do get let down because and the thing about it is I want to be original. I want to know some of the artists that are on here, on my podcast I'm interviewing. I want to know their history. I was right there with this person starting their music. And I'm listening to it and enjoying something. That's happened a couple times. Another guy that I really enjoyed his music, and then that I just take it as you never want to take it the wrong way because I always want to leave the door open. When he said he couldn't do it, I always just come back with a positive and just say, hey, well, if you ever want to do it, the door is open for you because I know you and I know your family, and I don't never want it to be a negative thing. So I'll just be here, when you're ready, because I can talk about this. You don't know where these artists are in their life. You don't know how much of the faking it or how much of the making it they are experiencing in their career right now. You don't know who they are listening to that's in their ear right now about their career.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's a real thing. So at that point, he's probably, maybe listening to someone who's heavily drug influencing, or she heavily drug influencing that person, and saying, you don't have to do interviews. You don't have to let people know this different side of you. You just keep getting high. You just keep shooting videos, or you just keep, recording. But, you don't have to let these people know about you right now. And maybe that'll change one day. And that's why I say I always, end it on a positive, because I always want to come back and get those interviews if I can. I always bring it back to Larry King. You don't know how many interviews he had fall through for whatever reason, and I don't know how he handled it, but I know that how I want to handle it. I just kind of want to keep it a positive door for whoever. Now if they attack me or my family publicly or something like that, then yes and no. But if they're just like, no, I'm too high or I'm recording or something like that, I just kind of just let it go for the time being.
That is really, really great advice. Not to get discouraged over a few no's. Always bounce back as quickly as possible to the reason why you started in the first place. What a beautiful explanation that was. Like, dang, I really like that and everything. Man,
I want to give you the best me. So, like I said, I'm trying to give you the honest, no bullshit. Answers. So I definitely owe that to you, if nothing else. So yeah, keep it rolling.
Okay, shoot, I like that. All right. Well, one of my questions that I was going to ask you was like, did you want to make a career out of it, or did you want to keep the podcast and the hobby? But you kind of already answered that for me by telling me the inspiration, people that you look up to, even as a child, up until right now. So I already know that answer. You're gonna take this worldwide, Wow. Now, speaking of jumping from a hobby to a career, so to speak, we all had to start from somewhere. So what advice, Miguel, can you give to other individuals who wish to start their own podcast?
I got one. All right. Guess what? Come up with a logo. Come up with a logo, because that's important. You want to be able to sell merch. You kind of want people to kind of wear your stuff out here when they're not even talking about your podcast.
Right.
Pullovers, t-shirts. Pullovers are big. You kind of want to be able to get you someone who is good with clothing, who is good with drawing. You kind of want that, get that person in your circle, a positive person, of course, but someone who can kind of take what you're trying to do as a podcast and kind of make a drawing of it, something that you can wear yourself. You want people to kind of associate a drawing or an image to the show. I would say that is so important that maybe some people may not know, or they may do know. That's big. Let me see. Logo, definitely so important. Logo.
That's
you
good advice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say also get your good laptop,
Yep.
get your microphone, get you a lot of paper,
Yes,
a lot of writing.
Yes.
I use my phone sometimes, and then I end up just writing from my phone on paper because it just feels good. It feels natural to write things down that you want to do for your show. It has a certain feel to it. Get you a lot of notepads, get you a lot of pens. I lose more. I feel like I got a lot of pens, but I when it comes time to write it down, I can't find the pen, so I have to end up going to give me a pen. Starting your podcast, man. Shout out to you if you are out there trying to start a podcast, because make sure that you're a fan. Make sure you do some kind of homework on maybe have a favorite podcast before you start. That way you can kind of have our favorite show. Like I said, it wasn't even a podcast. I was Larry King, and it was podcast. I listened to a lot of ESPN podcasting before I started podcasting, so they were doing good. And I don't know, I'm on your show. I want to give them a shout out, but the Dan Le Batard show with Stu guys. Those guys totally influenced the Just Chillin' vibe, because those guys are in there. They don't even care what's going on that show while they're recording it. There can be someone eating while they're talking. There can be someone arguing in the background. But they're talking about sports, and they have great interviews too. But they definitely are just chilling in there. So shout out to the Dan Le Batard show with Stu guys. It's on ESPN. Those guys influenced me as well. Just make sure that you have something that you don't want to copy, but you want to grab influence from.
Okay. All right. Those are good tidbits. Start a logo, do your research, and get inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And finally, but not least, what are the pros and cons of staying at home due to the virus affecting your show?
Okay, there are pros and cons. Let's see. Pros are that I got 7 episodes done in a week.
Damn, go ahead with your bad self.
And that is for you. That is credit to you, because I felt. Let me tell you what happened. I'll get to the cons. This is a pro though. You sent people to me to interview, and I felt something inside of me. I felt a certain I don't know what you want to say, but I felt an obligation to you to make these interviews happen. So the fact that you see these people that you sent me, and that they also have interviews with me now out available on SoundCloud, I feel like I've done a service to you, because I could have just said, okay, yeah, you sent me these people, but there's nothing, there's no episodes out here. I sent these people to you because, now you can tell people, hey, you can send Miguel someone, and he'll do his homework on them, and he'll interview them for you in a timely manner. So I definitely appreciate you sending those people to me, and I feel like that's the way I could show you I appreciate that is to do the dang interview for you, and I did that.
And you did a wonderful job too. I enjoyed all of them.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You send people my way, and like I said, I don't want to take it lightly at all, because this is a passion, and I guess that's a word that we haven't talked about on this podcast today is be passionate about it. If you want to do a podcast, kind of be passionate about it. Have some passion there, because that's what it took for me to get those episodes out. Was passion. I said, well, man, I got to study up on Fat Bro. I got to study up on Descendant. Get these interviews, Mzradio. I got to, let me see what I can come up with, and not ignore it, because I have time to do this. Now, I know you will understand if I was working and it was hard to get an episode out, but come on, man, we're locked down right now, so I definitely took it seriously, and I tried my best, basically.
Yeah, you did in the show too. No excuses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's an important thing. And the cons are, If you have a significant other, you know, my wife's like, oh, you have kids,
right?
You gotta make some time for them, because they're like, oh, you podcasting again today? I was like, yeah. Last week, she's like, well, come up and be with the family, and yeah, so definitely felt like I was still at work a little bit, but you know, I know that comes with it, but you also have to make sure that, okay, once this is done, boom, let's go do family time. Let's go play. Let's go watch a movie together. Let's go eat together. You know, basically cooking in the kitchen, but let's go eat together. Let's watch a movie. You know, let's have some time with our family, because it means something to them. Even though it doesn't seem like, because you know, when you're in the grind so much, you don't really know, but your family definitely values your time. You know, whoever that is, whoever close to you, they really value your time. So I noticed that, and that's a con to podcasting so much, because you want to do it and you're passionate about it, but your family wants you to. So
right, exactly. Yeah. That is so true. That is very true. Okay, well, those were good pros and cons. You know, I like to really end off all my segments with some fun questions for the guests and everything. So, you ready?
Let's go.
All right. What book are you currently reading or just finished reading?
Yes, I'm reading Breaking Into My Life by Michelle Dickinson. It is a great book, and guess what? She's been a she's been a guest on my podcast.
Wow.
Man, she's got a great story. I would have people go listen to that episode. She's got a great story. About growing up with a bipolar parent, and seeing one side of her mother growing up, but they I think something happened to her family. Maybe someone died, and that she had to take care of the other kids that were in that. Her sister or her brother or something died, and her mom had to take the kids in, and the mother didn't even die, but the mother wasn't even qualified to take care of the kids after her husband died. So they took the kids in, and Michelle, she ended up seeing her mother change once those 2 additional kids came into the house. I find that a very interesting. It's a lot of great stories in there, and she got a great episode too on the podcast. But Breaking Into My Life. By Michelle Dickinson, growing up and loving a bipolar parent, and that was great. I mean, and I've not even finished with that book yet, but it is a good read. I like stuff like that, you know, watching people overcome certain situations. And if you look her up, she's done well for herself. And to imagine that she's come from what is inside that book, her memoir, and she even says loving that bipolar parent, so she loves her. But going through the things that, you know, shaped her life. Yeah, that's what I'm reading right now, and I'm enjoying it.
That sounds like a good book. I did listen to that podcast, and I remember you saying that the mother who was bipolar, she would do things like say to her daughter, like, you can't wash her hair every single day. You can only wash her hair once a week. And, you know, she would wake up in the middle of the night and sneak to wash her hair. And her mother would, I'm just repeating what you said from the book, the excerpt from the book, but she would get up and, you know, basically whoop her and, abuse her for washing her hair, because she would find the wet towels, the evidence in the bathroom. And it's like, what the hell? And I know it's so weird, because it is interesting that she didn't know her mother was bipolar until the 2 additional kids came into the house. And that's when she noticed her mother's personality changing. So it became very difficult for her to love her mother, but she still did, though. And it kind of
the book is so good. The mom, and I don't know what time, she said it was like 80s, so I will go with 80s. But she would have the kids like cleaning out their cigarette ashtrays in the house. Like, that is so crazy. Like, that Michelle and her siblings, they have, I just think that's wild. To go make the kids go clean up the ashtray, clean out all. And she was like, it's so much cigarettes, there's so much soot and smoke and just burnt material inside of that ashtray. And they're making kids, like, you know, go clean that out for them and stuff like that. Maybe everybody did that in the 80s. I don't know, but that is some weird stuff, man. I have to go through. I didn't have to clean up think about yourself. I didn't have to clean out any ashtrays growing up. Like, if you smoke, that was your thing, and that you clean out your ashtrays. But having those kids, that stuck out to me. I'm not having an opinion about it, but it stuck out to me that they had the kids cleaning out the ashtrays. They smoked so much, they had the kids cleaning out the ashtrays for them. It's a great book, man.
You know, I bet those kids, despite all of that, I bet they didn't grow up to be smokers themselves.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know them personally. I haven't hung out with Michelle. Would love to, but no, I don't know that for sure. But yeah, I would think not, because those are some traumatizing visions, even for someone that didn't go through it.
Yeah, it is. That's what that book is probably very, very, very good. Okay, so despite everything going on, what's the best thing that happened to you this year, Miguel?
This year, best thing that happened this year. I don't know if I can talk about it, but well, I guess I can talk about myself. I'm a foster parent, and
cool.
You know, and we have a new addition into the foster parent on top of the kid that we're fostering now. So
wow.
Those are always great moments in my life, and for us to have a new addition for however long it takes. So, you know, because most of the time you're fostering, you're trying to have those kids reunite with their families at some point. But even during that time that you're fostering and being with them, those little moments that you have together are priceless. Spending time with those kids, and it just learning about them, you know, just figuring out. And I mean, I'm fostering a newborn right now, and it is just so awesome. I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's so awesome. I don't know if I'll have this kid forever, but I really love this kid right now.
Oh, it's so sweet.
I love my, I'm gonna be fair, I love my other foster kid as well, just the same. But it's kind of like when you get one bag of popcorn, you got another bag of popcorn right there next. I got two bags of popcorn right now.
Oh, that is so nice and cute. Kudos to you and your wife for making that big transformation, adding a new addition to the family.
Yeah, definitely. It's great.
Okay, so if you were stranded on a desert island with 2 musical albums, what would you take to listen to and why?
Me Against the World, Tupac. That is one of my favorite albums. I love that album. I asked a lot of people. I mean, you see how that one just came out?
Yeah, I did, for real.
Me Against the World, Tupac. I definitely highly recommend that. Talk about a concise album. That is a very concise album. I just love Tupac, but this is like, I just feel like where he was at in his life when he recorded that album. And a lot of people I talk to, they say that All Eyes on Me is a better album, or that's their favorite, but my favorite is Me Against the World, because I just feel like he wasn't so far into that thug life, you know, moniker yet, but he was going towards it, and you could just see the progression of him, you know, being a street kid and being a thug. You can see the street kid in him, and you can see the thug in that same album. And I just I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that I was able to experience that album. The number 2, man, it's gonna be like a 10-album fight for that, man. I don't know. I feel like somebody's gonna get left out. Man, just because where I was, and you know, if I'm gonna go Tupac, I'm also gonna go, and I might get flack for this one, but I know where I was in my life when this album dropped. But the Carter 2 by Lil Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. It was just when it happened, where I was at, it got me through some times. I was going through some hard times at that time when that album came out, or while it was out, and all my friends were listening to it. We were in school, and yeah, Lil Wayne on the Carter 2. It seemed like I had so many friends in school, but every car I got in, we would listen to at least a few songs off of that. Everybody I got in the car with. And like I said, you get albums like that are heavily played, but like I said, in my life at that time, to be hearing hustler music or Mind on My Money, or the greatest rapper alive, just to hear those songs constantly at that time in my life, it kind of shaped who I am, and I don't have to tell you how hard of a worker Lil Wayne is about his music. So
no, you don't.
It inspired me.
Yeah, Lil Wayne is definitely a hard worker, and I noticed that when he was when he was first coming up, I'm like, dang, this dude is dropping music like crazy. He jumping on everybody's track. I don't care if it's pop or country music, he own it,
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I definitely agree. Okay, so last but not least, give a shout out to some of your favorite podcast shows and tell the listeners out there where they can listen to your show at.
Okay. Just Chillin podcast, #1 on SoundCloud right now. I try to keep as much content up there as possible. I feel like that's important to have. If you have a podcast out, you kind of want to have something for them to listen to.
Right.
So I'm mindful of that. I definitely want to shout out Speak Your Mind Radio on Spotify and not Apple Music, iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
To me, that's the home team, right? So,
for sure.
Yeah, that's the home team. So aside from that, I definitely would say, Dan Le Batard's show with Stu Guys, that inspired me. Like I said, everybody loves the Joe Budden podcast, but let me tell you something. Who else inspires me? And if you're gonna put me on the spot, I have to give this man a shout out. Everybody I talked to, and this came out of my mouth before, so I know I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson.
Oh, really?
He has the best podcast out right now. I don't know what it was about. Maybe it's just my infatuation with Mike Tyson personally, but he's got a podcast out there where he's influenced the Just Chillin podcast. I don't know if Mike Tyson here is, but Mike Tyson, he has the best podcast. He gets deep and talking to these people. He is in depth. He asks great questions. I don't know what it's like talking with Mike Tyson, but I do now because of the podcast. And beautiful. Yeah, he's on Spotify and Apple Music. I feel like shout out to Mike Tyson, man. He's influenced my podcast.
Shout out to Mike Tyson.
Hot Boxing podcast, yeah, he's great. I want some of that. He's in the merch game too. I want me some Hot Boxing merch. I would definitely wear that. And a sleeper is I don't think enough. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not aware, but I don't think a lot of people listen to Expeditiously with T.I.
Yeah.
He has a really good podcast as well, and I think he's a sleeper. They talk about on the Joe Budden podcast. I'll give you a sleeper. That's a sleeper podcast. To listen to is Expeditiously with T.I. He asks great questions. He has great guests, and I can tell that he does his homework on people. When you do podcasts and then you listen to other people's podcasts, you can kind of tell what went into an episode.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, expeditiously. T.I. got to have a big word when you got his podcast.
Yeah,
expeditiously.
He's famous for expeditiously. Just saying that word. Period.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Miguel, for stopping by today and telling us about your show, Just Chillin. And
it's all mine.
For sure. And thank you to all my listeners who tune in each and every weekend for the hottest artists, music around, and listening to this special episode. And it's going to be more special episodes too. And it's a reason why I'm bringing all these individual podcasters on my show. So trust me, just keep, listening and you'll find out why. Anyway, also a special thank you to all the donors of Speak Your Mind Radio, because without y'all, this show cannot go on. So if you would like to leave a donation for Speak Your Mind Radio, you can just inbox me and I'll send you the link, or you can remember, which you probably won't remember, Miss Hip Hop 2020. You can PayPal me there for a $2 cup of coffee, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, thanks for tuning in, y'all, and I'll see you next week. Peace out and bless up and stay safe.